hours tonight at midnight, it is very likely that the United States government is going to shut down. And I want to just take a minute to explain why that is happening and how it is happening. In the U.S. Senate, there is a rule, it's been around for many, many decades, which says that in order to pass a budget, which is what we're considering right now, you need 60 votes. And I guess the people who put it in did that because they wanted bipartisanship. They didn't want one party just to be dictating the terms. That's what's gone on for decades. And under Democratic and Republican leadership in the past, that is what has happened. Agreements were reached in a bipartisan basis based on negotiations. People talked to each other. This year, we are in a different situation. Republicans, as everybody knows, controls the U.S. Senate, controls the U.S. House, and controls the White House. In other words, they are running the government. But what is happening now, which has never happened before, is they are not sitting down and negotiating. Yesterday, Trump met with the Democratic leadership, the Republican leadership, said hello to each other. It wasn't really a negotiation. So as of this point, Democrats have had no input into the process at all. Now, what Republicans want is to pass what is called a clean CR. In other words, maintaining the status quo. And some of you may say, well, what's the problem? You know, it's not bad, it's not good, we'll maintain the status quo. Here's why that is an awful idea and why all of us are opposed to that. In the last year, as many of you know, under Trump's big, beautiful bill, which to my mind was one of the worst pieces of legislation passed in modern history, under that bill, 15 million people on Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act will be thrown off of health care. A number of studies out there have suggested that up to 50,000 Americans a year will die because they are no longer able to go to the doctor. Very shortly, you are going to be receiving notices from your insurance companies that your rates, your insurance premiums, are going up by, on average, some more, some less, 75%. Yeah, you heard that correctly, 75%. Now, right now, we have a broken healthcare system. Nobody can afford healthcare. You're ready for a 75% increase in your insurance premiums. You're not, nobody is. On top of all of that, you got a HHS, Health and Human Services Secretary now, who's trying to undermine vaccine protocol, one of the great developments in modern science, keeping our kids healthy. On top of that, there is a massive move in this country to authoritarianism, and we'll go into that in a moment, where you have a president who doesn't believe in the Constitution, doesn't believe in the rule of law, lies all of the time. Just today, gave a speech to the generals. Hey, generals, it might be a good idea to start invading American cities to get practice of how you can function in a warlike situation. President today. So that is where we are. And what I'm going to do now is give it over to some of the strongest members of the United States Senate, doing a great job, each and every one. Talk briefly, we'll have a discussion. We've got some questions that you have already sent in. We'll try to answer them. Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren.